Yep.
In jQuery, could we just remove that element though? Is there a way
We
to do
could.
that?
Yeah, we could have done the following. We could have done the following. Here, instead of doing any of this filter and nonsense, instead of re-rendering, we could have, we know the button, right? And once we know the button, we know that the button is inside of a bigger TD, and the TD is inside of a bigger TR, right? I think so, right? Is it? Yeah, it's inside of a TD, and it's inside of a TR. So basically, what I would like to be able to do, maybe walk the tree backwards up to the TR, right, and just remove that row. Now, we could have done that, right? For instance, I can say const TD would be delete button dot parent. Right, you can say console.log just to make sure that this is the TD. So let's re-render this. And in the console, we could click on that and notice that we have the TD, right? We could walk backwards a little further and say const the TR is a TD.parent, right? And just make sure that we have the parent. Right, we have the table row, right there with the class. And we could have just blown it away. You can say just tr.remove, right? And remove would have just removed that one row. Okay, it's gone, right? And that's fine. The only issue here is that you have to be careful that whatever you're manipulating in the DOM matches whatever data model you have, right? That whatever data is actually being rendered, right? It's always a result of having manipulated some data model, right? You manipulate the data model, and then that data model is then translated into rendering the DOM, right? It's one of the things that Angular and React and jQuery don't get along is that you can in jQuery or JavaScript manipulate all the individual elements, which like we just did, right? But React and Angular get really mad at this because wait a minute, my data model still says you have 3 movies and you only have 2 over here, right? Now there's an inconsistency between my data model representation of what the DOM and what actually is being rendered in the DOM. So you have to be careful, right? That these need to be synchronized.
Right. So would it be considered better practice to do it the first way then if you're using like React and stuff?
Say again?
Would it be considered better practice to do it the first way then, rather than just removing the individual objects?
No, what happens is that all these high level infrastructures, they allow you to do is to think of the page not at the low level of the page, but in an object oriented way, right? So you're always just manipulating the data, right? The actual rendering of how that gets translated into the DOM is left. So it's not your concern, right? You manipulate the data model, right, and everything else gets triggered. It listens to all. They become observable data models, right? And whenever these models change, all sorts of triggers happen and get notified of who needs to do what, right? And again, this data, there's a lot of layers in between actually rendering and you manipulating the data model. Angular is very, very adamant about making this distinction by saying, well, the data model lives over here, and you manipulate it in JavaScript, and the template lives over there, and there's no crossing. You never directly manipulate the DOM, right? It's always through some layers, right? And it's completely hidden from you.
Hi everyone, Jose here. Please remember to subscribe and like the video. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Thank you.